So this last section, intrusion detection systems. You've probably heard of these before. Usually just pronounce IDS because obviously it's easy to just say IDS. Um, these are used for basically, you know, detecting anything's happening currently in the network. So the difference from antivirus with an IDS is that an antivirus needs to be run, and they will then find a virus, and it's usually after something's been infected. Whereas an IDS will constantly monitor things all the time. If it picks something up, it will alert your network admin or the network itself and attempt to quarantine it if it thinks it's necessary, depending on how it's been set up. So it's kind of a bit like a firewall and an antivirus mixed together. It's usually like both in one, essentially. And obviously, again, it can just be a hardware device. It doesn't necessarily have to be a software thing that's on a server or a computer. It can be a hardware device on its own. And again, there's some benefits to having it as a hardware device. Obviously, if it's on its own, it's going to be more effective as its job. Whereas if it's on a server, obviously it's probably going to be less effective because servers are running other things as well. And as it monitors, obviously it will pick anything up that's strange. If it is strange, it will tell your network administrator. So if it tells your network administrator, they can then say, right, I'm going to block it or I'm going to do something about it. Or you can set the IDS up just to stop the thing that's happening. If it does detect something, it can stop it entirely. And obviously, because an IDS system is running constantly and is looking for certain things, it can detect activities that an antivirus can't. And the reason for that is because it'll look for any suspicious activity. So if there's a lot of traffic going in and out for one PC on a network, for example, that doesn't looks a bit out of the norm, it might think that there's a virus on there, which at that point it'll try and stop it. So there's multiple different things an IDS can do that an antivirus can't, because an antivirus won't look at that. The antivirus will look for code signatures. It won't look for, you know, if there's a lot of data going in and out. An antivirus won't look at that. It'll probably look at if something's getting replicated, that's different, but it won't look at traffic flowing in and out of it. It doesn't do that. So IDS systems can obviously be on individual machines like your computers, your tablets, your smart toasters and stuff. If you really want it on a smart toaster, and detect if anything's going in and out of it or if it's been hacked. And obviously you got a network one, which is for an entire network, which will cover all PCs, all devices and stuff on there. And it's usually called HIDs and NIDs. You'll get used to that if you go into networking, HIDs and NIDs. Usually, if you go into a network, you'll have NIDs with HIDs on each computer just to double up on the safety. I think we do at college. We've got a NID system called Sophos. It installs itself on each machine and also monitors the network as well. So basically, it kind of does both. It's all right. It's not the best in the world, but it's okay. So obviously, IDS systems will use similar things to antivirus as well. So it'll use attack signatures. So if it does pick up a signature like an antivirus would, like a virus code signature, it'll stop it. So unlike an antivirus, it has to be run in order for it to find it. And it's usually after it's been infected the machine. This will run all the time and pick it up straight away. So technically, it is better than an antivirus. Also, we talked about baselines before in a previous video. So an IDS will have a set baseline. So look at traffic going in and out, and look at any suspicious activity that's going on the network. If the network behavior is different for whatever reason, so like I was saying earlier with traffic going in and out of a computer more than what it usually does, it will look at it and think, what's going on here? If it looks at it and it's just, I don't know, you're uploading a video to YouTube or downloading a video or something like that, and it'll go, alright, that's fine, no issues. But if it's constantly doing it, it might think something's not right here and stop it and time you out. That's why you get timeouts on a lot of networks if something's taking too long, because it might think it's something else trying to do something dodgy. And obviously it doesn't know that. It'll just do it automatically just on the off chance there is something dodgy that's running. So that's the security baseline. So a baseline might be, I don't know, you can upload something for 30 minutes maximum. After that, it'll flag it as suspicious because it's taking too long, or something like that. That's just an example. So it will then alert your system administrator, or it can block it. You can have it set up so it'll block it or time it out to stop anything bad from happening in case it is something that is trying to attack. And that's why You usually get a lot of timeouts and things getting blocked on networks and college systems and stuff because they want to make sure that nothing's being done that's dodgy. And obviously, like firewalls and antiviruses, IDS systems will also log things. So anything that happens, it'll log. There'll be a massive log of everything that's going on. It'll raise alerts as well. And what your admin should do is really look at it every now and again, making sure that everything's okay, and making sure that nothing strange happening. Because it might be something strange is happening, and the IDS doesn't even pick it up. It'll log that something's going on, but it might not flag it as being suspicious. Whereas if a human looked at it, they'd go, "Oh, actually, that looks a bit strange. We might try and block that or see what's going on." So, intrusion detection systems aren't always 100% effective. And again, while you're doing your assignment, you talk about what they are. You talk about there can be hardware, software, and say why it's better off hardware than software. Pricing, knowledge needed to run it, and basically that it's good, but it's not 100% perfect. Like anything in this world, any networking equipment that is for security, it'll be good at the one thing, won't be good at everything, and it won't catch everything 100% of the time. So, um, interesting things to think about. But that's essentially the last part of P5 now. Talk about all these things, say what they are, say how they can protect a network, and then for your distinction task, say if they're going to be useful or impactful for a business to use or not, and say what the downsides and the good sides are, and then give an overall at the end, just saying, yeah, it is, or no, it won't be useful, depending on context. So give it context. So say, like for a small network, for example, if it's like got 3 or 4 computers on, an intrusion detection system is going to be way too expensive for what it is. Whereas for a big company like Google or Microsoft, they probably would need not just one, probably many, many, many different ones just to make sure that everything's running okay. So, yeah, that's it. So that's the end of P5. Talk about all that stuff, and obviously just say if it's useful or not for the distinction.